Hey everybody, what is up? My name's Mackenzie.
And I'm Jonathan.
We are husband and wife, and we'd like to welcome you to TerreDice.
And today we're looking at Villainous, filled with fright.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
Halloween, Halloween.
That is right. Oogie Boogie, the boogeyman himself, is finally entering the villainous universe.
You're joking! If you've been watching us for a while, you know that we predicted Oogie Boogie would one day be one of the next villains in Disney Villainous. And you'll have to stay tuned to the end to see how close our predictions were. Now, Jack Skellington has left for Christmas Town and left Sandy Claus here with Oogie Boogie, who has captured him. Now, his goal for this game is to become the ultimate ruler of Halloween Town. But to do that, he's got to make sure Jack Skellington is finished once and for all. So he must remind him that he is the imposter Sandy Claus. He's not Sandy Claus. And then bring him back for the ultimate showdown at the end where he will defeat Jack Skellington. Now, notably, we have one major new mechanic in terms, there are a few other fun ones, but we have dice for the very first time. These are his dice from the film. What an awesome collector's item. We'll get to those when we get to components, but there's some cool stuff going on there. Now, I'm gonna focus on the cards that are new because he's got a bunch of cards about rolling dice for one. So his cards basically say, if I wanna say, you know, for instance, Jack Skellington is the imposter Sandy Claus, I gotta roll these dice. If I get over a 7, 10, then I have successfully landed one of my 4 that I need to make him the imposter, make him come back. Now, he has a whole bunch of cards that say, like, if I roll over an 8, I get to do something really powerful. If I roll under that, I still get something. So I might get to draw a card or I might get to do something else. Now, what I think is really cool about these is that I have a couple cards in this deck that let me cheat. Like, let me do things really weird. Like, for instance, I can perform actions, any available action, if I can roll a high enough number with these dice with one of those effect cards. Now, I may not actually roll high enough, but I might have one of my loaded dice cheat cards. Now, if I have that, I can re-roll one of those dice. So I can make sure that I have a better chance of getting what I want out of that. Now, there's even effect cards that let me take one of those actions from my discard pile and choose what the dice value is. So I can even mitigate it further to say, okay, actually, I'm gonna do that for real, you know, what is the card? This time we bagged him. So he's got his buddies Luck, Shock, and Barrel. They're 3 different allies who, when you have all 3 of them out, they're each giving each other +1 strength. They're also giving you different abilities. So for instance, if I go to one of their location, I get to draw cards. Another one's making it cheaper to play allies. So he's got a really cool kind of versatile deck. But what I think is coolest about it is that unpredictability of you never know what actions he's going to take because he's got the ability to take actions outside of his current location.
Okay, so now let's dive into his fate cards because he has a couple of really cool, like, new mechanics. One of my favorite when we've been playing through this is going to be Sally's mechanic. So, like in the movie, he's distracted by, like, her leg, and it's kind of like that thing here where when Sally is played, Oogie Boogie has to go to her location. But then,
now, hang on, that's a brand new thing, right?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. That's a brand new thing. Like, Sally, like, the mover actually moves. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I've ever seen it where a card actually can move a mover.
Yeah, so
like,
when you play it, so like if you were to play it to the graveyard, instantly Oogie Boogie moves to that location.
Yeah, he's like drawn to that, but then while she is in play, he can only move to adjacent locations, so he can't like make huge jumps. So it really like mitigates him. But I've never seen, I don't think, one quite like that before. Another one that also plays into the dice mechanic is going to be Hello Oogie, which this is also new. So when this is played, it's actually going to be played underneath wherever the mover is, and it's going to subtract 2 from whatever his die roll is. And when you move that mover again, it's going to just remind you to take that off. So it's just like, to have him under the mover is just a reminder that, like, that is no longer in effect. I think it's like a neat way that I've never seen the effect cards quite used that way before. And then there's a couple others that I'm not sure. So the mayor of Halloween Town, we both haven't really seen why. Okay, so what it says is, when the mayor of Halloween Town is defeated, reveal fate cards until you find a hero. Play hero to any location. And in other villainous characters, this might make sense, but I don't get why you would ever want to play a hero from your deck.
Yeah.
And why? Because you need Jack to come out, but he would come out as an effect, correct?
Yeah, he would. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's dive into more Jack's
Jack.
character. Yeah.
So Jack Skellington is the ultimate goal. He's this 8 strength character that you need to defeat to win the game. But to actually get him out on the board as a hero, you need to first remove Sandy Claus. Sandy Claus is a prisoner, and this is only removed by getting those 4 imposter Sandy Claus out. So that's when you find Jack. You get to put him out on the board. If Jack comes out from your Fate deck, he's played instead as an effect. So he's a hero or an effect. This is so cool because we were playing a couple weeks ago and I was playing Captain Hook and you fated me and could only play Peter Pan like really early on. I was like, well, I guess I've won now because you played Peter Pan. But this allows you to play Jack Skellington without helping me.
But back to the mirror, I'm not sure why me, the other player, would ever want to play a hero from your deck.
I don't think I never wanted to attack the mirror.
I'm not sure. And then the other one is that we found and we've been told about there's a typo in the distraction.
At least that's what's been reported to us, which makes sense. Yeah.
And I think it is a typo. So what it says here is you move a hero to an adjacent location. You may discard a hero or item from the hero's new location. Now, it's actually supposed to say you may discard an ally or item from the hero's new location. So that is a big difference.
Yeah.
So that it's like, if that is true, I think that could swing people's decision, like how they're
particularly
gonna play
the scary thing that could happen is you could discard Jack Skellington and then there's no way to get Jack Skellington back.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not entirely. Basically, we've seen pictures of what the card should have looked like, so I'm pretty sure that this was true. I haven't tracked down the source entirely, but it seems very likely that that's the case.
Gameplay aside, which I want to get into, but first I want to talk about the components. All right, so we have the mover. The mover is this really neat beanbag feel where you get the Oogie Boogie, and we have the Target exclusive version. And in case you were wondering, yes, he does glow in the dark.
It's so cool.
Just the Target exclusive version. The other ones are just going to be a plastic version, kind of like the other movers.
Now I have to tell you, I did not think at first that it glowed in the dark because I just used my iPhone flashlight for a second and then I turned off the lights and it wasn't glowing.
Yeah.
I had to put it in front of a light for quite a while, but then it glowed pretty well.
It did glow really well, but you do have to hold it in front of that light for a while. It's just for the really neat effect. I'm very happy that they actually decided and went through with that. And then I am also going to talk about the dice are gorgeous. This is the exclusive dice. I think we were talking to the designer at Gen Con. They said they're never going to make these official Oogie Boogie dice for a long time from now. But of the fact that we have those
this will be a collector's item for sure.
The only thing I would say with the dice is that sometimes it's hard to see all of the pips in them when you roll them just because of the actual design of them. But I can't really fault
the movie and it looks just like that.
Yeah, but I can't fault them for that because they did the exact design of the movie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We also got some +1, -1 tokens, which, okay, cool. We haven't had those before. And it's Disney Villainous, I don't think.
No, yes, we have.
Oh, we did. Who did we have with?
With Lotso.
You're right. We did. Okay, cool. Yeah, so they brought them back because we need them for Jack Skellington, but also for Lock, Shock, and Barrel. They've got the +1s. Yeah. So that was cool. Yeah. The first one is probably I thought this was a much bigger deal than you did, but I may have overreacted to this. So Sandy Claus is a prisoner, and it starts out on your board. And the only thing that happens to it is that once you play the imposters, it gets removed. And at that point, you can play Jack Skellington. I don't understand why this is a card. In every single previous iteration of Disney Villainous, this was a cardboard token. So Rapunzel,
Buzz Lightyear,
Spanish mode Buzz.
The Cauldron.
The Cauldron in The Horn King.
Yeah.
So this should have been a cardboard token. And I feel given this is a single character expansion as well, they went all out with the dice. They went all out with the glow in the dark. I still think there was probably room in the budget for this to be a cardboard token.
Yeah, so I would say
it just feels like a design like it doesn't match the design of the other Disney villains.
Because this is only the only time even once you get rid of Sandy Claus, he is not going to be shuffled into the Fate deck. Like, he is permanently removed from the game. So it's only for this purpose.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And the other thing we have to point out is that the text color that has been chosen on the villain deck, especially, and on the board, it is hard to read in some lighting.
Not enough contrast.
It is that like tan yellow color coming off the green. Like, if you're looking across the table at someone else's board, we played this game with multiple people, and everyone has like said that like they have a hard time reading that text.
Yeah. We found some like what I assume maybe our prototype photos, or maybe just the camera was picking it up better. It seems like there was darker contrast in some of the pictures that Ravensburger showed. It feels like this might have been one of those cases where the final production thing used a different print color. Yeah. And it just looked a little bit different. But we can't know for
sure. I just almost wish they had used like a white, because reading it so clearly is so important.
It's very hard to see.
The pink in the conditions is very hard to see against
very hard
the green.
On the eyes. Yeah.
Art on this game is really pretty.
Fantastic.
Think it fits in well with the rest of the Villainous universe. It doesn't like stand out at all. So love that. All right, so that's for components. Now, what do we think about the overall cards of everything?
I love it. It's so fun. This is a very solid villainous character. The dice add a whole lot of fun to it. I like that there's dice luck mitigation. You got the cheat cards. You got the way to go play the effects from your discard pile as well if you've previously messed up. I just think they did a lot of cool stuff with it. The Fate deck's really fun with Sally. I really like it a lot.
And we did, when we were testing this, we did try it out with the new Introduction to Evil characters. We played like with Maleficent against Oogie Boogie, and it did well. Like, so I think you can definitely play Oogie Boogie with like the Intro to Evil. Like, if you got that one and you're looking at getting a new expansion, I think like Oogie Boogie worked. So it's been 2 years now, I think, that we paired up with a Disney travel agency, the Jamie Thomas Show, and we talked about our villains that we wanted to be in it. I'll link it right up there if you want to go see the other ones we talked about, maybe someday. So how close were we? It wasn't us who came up with the initial idea.
Brad.
It was Brad. So how close were we?
Well, okay, so he said Oogie Boogie would make the perfect villain. He'd be on the box cover. He would have these dice. We had a picture of these exact dice.
Yeah, here's the clip right here. I made a little PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, so that's a check. He also said that the 3 main allies that you would have would be Lock, Shock, and Barrel. That's a check. They're right here in this game. That is unfortunately where the similarities stop. So we have dice-based cards, but in that the thing was that
one was more that his whole goal was going to be to defeat Santa Claus. Instead, it's now Sandy Claus, but now his overall, which I think is true, his overall arching goal is to become king of the Halloween town. So that has changed.
Yeah. So it was cool to see that, it was a little bit different, but we were close. So that was cool to see.
Yeah, that was fun.
Now, which one of the 3 do you want to see next?
Oh, well, the one I picked.
Bradley Uppercrust the Third.
Bradley Uppercrust the Third from Extremely Goofy Movie. I want to see it. That would be awesome.
That would be cool.
Who do you want?
Claude Frollo, of course.
Oh. Yeah. We'll see. Who's your second one? Like, not out of that, but like out of the villainous, of all the villains.
Of all the villains.
Who do you want to see next?
Clayton from Tarzan.
Clayton. No, that's a good one.
How does he make that gun sound with his mouth?
I don't know. But what I actually, okay, so from that video, I want to see Bradley Uppercrust the Third. But the one I actually would love to see next would be, I don't think they'll do it. I think they'll do Randall, but I'd love to see Mr. Waternoose.
Oh, they gotta do Mr. Waternoose.
But I think they'll probably do Randall, because I like he's like the
yeah, I guess Mr. Waternoose could be one of the cards. Yeah.
I think he'll be but I think he'd be a really cool box cover. But I hope they dive into monsters, because that's my favorite movie. Yeah. But overall, I think the production and the gameplay of Filled with Fright does a very good job. This is a single expansion, so it's interesting seeing the single one again. What do we think?
Yes, so we've covered one single one before that was Venom for Marvel Villainous.
Yeah.
And honestly, like, I really like the character. If it's a solid quality character, if you get stuff like this in it, it gives you the opportunity to have a really like deluxeified,
but what
kind
do
of
you
fun new
think?
character.
Do you think this is just for like Halloween to make sure Oogie Boogie got out, or do you think we're going to just be seeing single characters from now on?
Yeah, I think it depends. I think that we have to let the designers and the developers go as fast as they feel comfortable going to create good content. If they felt like they had a really solid Oogie Boogie and they didn't have 2 more that were ready to pair with it right now, like I'd rather them put out a really solid Halloween pack than like a 3-pack that is like not polished. So I always want to let the designers and the developers go at the pace they want to go. That said, like look at things like Unmatched as like another thing where they do a 3-pack, they do a 4-pack, they do a 1-pack. You get the Bruce Lee character. So like we've seen other games be successful with this model. I want to wait and see if they do more 3-packs, more solos.
I would not like
Venom.
them to stick.
I loved this.
I would not like them to just stick with this, but I think like having them here and there, I think they really wanted to make sure that this was available for the Halloween season. Overall, I think this is a really solid production and a great one if you want to pick up for the Halloween season and add it to your Villainous lineup.
Yeah, this is a fun one to play.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to become one that
he's
I play
matching
regularly.
up well with the other characters, and he's been really good. So I would love to read down the comments what you guys think of him, and when you start to play with Oogie Boogie, I'd like to see how he matches up and who you play him against, because we've done several matches so far, so I'd like to see what you guys do as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you know whenever we put out a new video. And we'll see you next time. Happy playing!
Oogie Boogie is up first.
Oogie Boogie!
Oh, okay. So this was the one I wanted to do. I am a big Tim Burton fan, at least his early work. I loved Ed Wood. I loved the first 2 Batman movies, and I loved Nightmare Before Christmas. And so this was, to me, an obvious one. Again, when I consider the art style that could be utilized in Villainous, I think it would end up being really beautiful.